Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 32-year-old from Newcastle upon Tyne, England. His hockey journey has taken him to England, Scotland, and legendary Chippy Lane of Cardiff, Wales. We are unsure if he ever laced up the wheels. The research team has a funny feeling he played for the Invicta Dynamos, but he is best known for keeping the clan's boots as sharp as they get and mucking it up on Chippy Lane while on the road. He started out way back in 2007 to 2010 with the now defunct Tits Up Newcastle Vipers. Jumped back into the game in 2019-20 with the Whitley Warriors and promptly won the championship, it looks like, and got the call to the UK show, the EIHL and the Glasgow Clan, where he's been running amok of the equipment game and is known around the game as an absolute dandy. Welcome to the shed, Jamie Douglas.
Thanks for having us, Wally. It's been a long time coming.
Sound like I swallowed a frog, and I'm sorry about that. Nothing I can do about this. Well, this is the only window I got, I think, till Christmas to pop one in here. And yeah, I'm not feeling 100%. It's been a long stretch here, you know.
Yeah, it's I've had a few issues. I know I tried to get it going last week, didn't we? But I had a few Wi-Fi issues, so we managed to get them sorted in the apartment.
We're finally in the shed, buddy. Nice to meet you. Yeah. I get into how we know each other.
Right? Just for listening to the shed, eh?
Yeah, well, I guess you've listened to the odd one, but that's probably how'd you find out about the shed? Was it Stephen Dixon?
Yeah,
he's a beauty.
Yeah, it was when you done your interview with Steve.
Yeah,
it would have been last season when he was here.
Mm-hmm.
I think. And I kind of picked up on a few. Obviously, you had Bryce in a bit earlier this season as well, Reddick.
Yeah, that's right.
One of my guys this season. Yeah, so two good guys.
Is Reds being high maintenance on you? Is he asking for a lot?
Reds has been good, to be fair, so far.
That's good.
Yeah, he's one of the easier guys in the room this season, so it's somebody's a bit of a pain when he skates and makes to make sure I've got them right. But
every team's got the guys that, you know, always got some issues with their equipment, right? Nitpicky.
Yeah, to be honest, I've not had many this season, which has been quite good.
Yeah, shed guys aren't picky with their equipment, from what I know.
It's well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get on to Steve at some point. See, he was a beauty.
Yeah.
But Reds has been great. Obviously, he's been around the league as well for a few years. Obviously, he had his stint in Cardiff, and then now he's up here.
Yeah.
Rocking it in Glasgow.
Yeah, so you are in Glasgow, and well, another shed guy wrote to me. He did mention you might be a beauty, but he said, good luck. His accent is harder to understand than Bouncy. So with me sounding like a frog and being sick, and then you having an accent like Bouncy, we're in a mess here, eh? We're just gonna have to muck it up and do our best.
Yeah. You know? Someone says you're just gonna have to speak slow, and I'm like, well, no, I'm just gonna speak how I normally speak, and let's just see how it rolls.
Yeah. Actually, that's a funny old story. Was way back when I was playing for Cardiff. It was my first time going to Scotland, and I didn't know much about Twitter, really how it worked. The Cardiff had mentioned we should get it to promote the team and stuff. And when I got there, I tweeted something like, I thought the English and Welsh accents were tough. I can't understand a lick of what these people are saying in Scotland. And man, that was like the most traction one of my tweets ever got.
I find it quite difficult, to be honest with it. It's more the Glaswegians that are more difficult to understand. People think I'm tough to understand, and I'm sometimes like, if I'm talking to people up here, I'm like, excuse me, like, I have to get them like repeat that stuff like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, I thought that was bad, like, but once you get going with them, it's like,
yeah, you feel bad asking again, right? Like you feel rude that you're asking again, like, sorry, but I really don't understand you.
It's just so strong. Like, I mean, the Newcastle accent's obviously a strong accent in itself, but like, even as you come further north again, it just gets even stronger.
Yeah. Probably when they start having pints, it probably gets stronger too, eh?
That's another challenge in itself.
It's kind of like my German always got better with pints, right? You know, English might get worse.
Was it pints or was it steins?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. And shout out to the Bietigheim Steelers. Riker Killens came on, And I said something about like, stop ignoring me. Like we were family for 4 years. And I know you see what I post and you never share it. Well, they shared me in their winter or their Christmas advent calendar today. I was number 20 and they let their fans know about my podcast in the shed. And I just thought that was great. And I know it didn't end like I would have wanted to in Bietigheim, but it's great to see we're still on the same team and hopefully fans listen and then do get Riker Killens that Alpen milk chocolate, that then I know they still love me, you know?
Yeah, the more followers, the better, eh?
Well, I don't do it for that, but it's nice when my teams have my back. That's what I'm
Yeah,
into with hockey.
definitely. Yeah,
That's hockey.
100%.
Yeah. Anyways, and I guess I am a sponsor of the Manchester Storm, and
Yeah, I seen
it,
that. I was down there 2 weeks ago. I noticed that little badge on the back of Critchellow's jersey.
isn't that cool? That's hockey.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, that's good, eh?
Hmm. So we just
As
had a raffle, folks, and it was two ales and Hockey Tales jersey. All that money is going to my sponsorship fee, and you know what? It's still a pretty big bill I got to pay. So we're having a raffle. I still owe the money, so we're having another raffle, just like last time, folks. Get involved. Two ales and hockey or aleshockeytales.com, and it'll be up soon. And we'll do another raffle. And someday I'm gonna have enough money to finish paying them. Fun is fun.
carry on for many seasons, hopefully.
Yeah, well, hopefully I get her done this season, but it's been exhausting. So actually, that's a fun fact. I need to ask the Shed family for a favor. I want to get the boys two ales and hockey tales t-shirts like I've got my teams the last 2 years with their names and numbers. And I don't quite have enough of my Monopoly money, my fun money from the Shed. So if anybody can just tip me on aleshockeytales.com if you appreciate what I do, I only need a bit more to get my whole team t-shirts because they've earned them. And that would be swell if people could help me out so I can get my team shirts because I already ordered them. But we did just win our tournament this weekend. And I tell you, it was an under 13 tournament, but it was as real as any other championship I've won. And I couldn't be a prouder coach. It was awesome. My boys mucked it up just like they tried harder than professionals. I have a team that tries harder than anybody around, and we just outwork teams and break them. And it's so cool to see them win a championship. We had like 5 guys come to the bench in the final game with some kind of issue with blocking shots and every single one of them just gutted it out and kept playing. And there was kids in tears, there were boogers flying everywhere, and they just kept rolling. And we won 3-0. Beautiful.
Congratulations. That's what you want, eh?
It
Boys are
is.
out there having fun, working hard, and winning, eh? Doesn't get any better than that, does it?
It doesn't, and I see them becoming friends for life, like brothers for life. And winning can do that, but like I find you win with camaraderie, and when you see it firsthand as a coach, jeepers, it can make your heart want to pop. And I think we're just getting started winning, and I think it's neat that I thought my championship days were behind me when I retired in Cardiff. I thought that was that, and I'm getting to redo her again. I get to play for trophies, and I get to move my pieces around the chessboard and try and beat the other guy. It's awesome.
You put your skates on so you can skate around with the trophy.
You know what? I was a little upset. Actually, I was a lot upset. We earned it. Tournament doesn't have a trophy, only medals. Didn't even have a trophy for the
No
like a
way.
picture. It's embarrassing.
What?
Never got to drink out anything, never got to take anything home. And I'm sure we paid enough to make a trophy. I make them
Yeah,
for
well,
pond
that's the
hockey
whole point of
tournaments.
the
Be
fees, isn't
better.
it? Like,
Right.
yeah,
It is. Be
100%.
better
That's
tournament.
what you pay your fees for, isn't it? Like to
You'd
get a
think so.
decent medal and a decent trophy at the end.
Well, they are nice medals. I got it up there in the shed beside my Denmark medal and gold helmet, and it's pretty cool to win again. And I have everything I need with this team, and they try hard, but that tournament needs to have a cup, and you need to be able to drink out of it. So why don't we go right into that? When you got back into the game with Whitley, I see you had a proper trophy, a cup that you could drink out of. Did you drink out of it?
Yes,
Yes, good. That's hockey.
we did
It's
indeed.
supposed to
We did
happen.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did indeed. There was a I don't want to say what was in it, like, because it was a mixture of things, and it didn't taste good when we drank it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
all the all the boys had a good swing on it. I'll say that much.
Jeepers. I'm not mad enough for whatever
I,
you're putting in it. You know?
I think it was like a mix of prosecco, the champagne that was on the ice, well, obviously the champagne slash cheap prosecco, and then like some lagers tipped in on top as well, just to finish it off.
Well, I know it happens in every league, everywhere, all over hockey. When you win a championship, the stories that happen after the win are some of the best hockey tales you'll ever create. And I'm sure you had people that got right into one. And you know what? I did every time. And after my team won this weekend, we earned it. And, it's been a long weekend. We went to a Spitfire game. Shout out to Joe Nesbitt for getting us set up with his cousin. One of the players met my whole team, signed their pucks, got a picture. But we were in Windsor from Thursday till Sunday, and then we finally win Sunday evening, and we still have a 3.5 hour ride back. And the boys are like, "Can we have a party?" And I'm sure all the other parents maybe, whatever. I said, "Well, every time I won a championship, I partied." So my other coach stepped up and hosted it. Way to go! It's great coaching with the shed guy that'll step up for the squad. And then the boys got together and got to, live it up without their trophy that they should have got.
Yeah, bit of a different kind of party than what you've been used to in the past. Then.
It's an interesting ride I'm on with this minor hockey. It was heavy mini sticks. I'm talking the boys came up like covered in sweat, like full covered in sweat, and they were mucking it up down there. Yeah. And then the dads stand around and wait for them to be done.
Yeah, was that party like party rigs and cocktail sausages and
we had pizza.
kind of
Yeah, you had finger foods.
Yeah, just as good.
So what goes on when Whitley, is that what it's called, wins the championship in the NIHL? I love winning.
Yeah, it was a funny one because obviously I've been out the game for a while. Then I had a bit of a tricky relationship which I just got out of, and I kind of stuck in a rut, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then I used when I worked in Newcastle, I worked with David Longstaff. You played against David when you were in Cardiff. You would have been in Guildford.
I never played against Guildford
at the time. Did you not?
No.
Or maybe he's a word in the league.
I think they got in the league the next year.
Yeah. So anyway, I worked with David back in Newcastle, and he kind of reached out and said, "Look, like we're equipment managers, just looking for a hand. You fancy coming along? Like just a good bit of banter in the dressing room." And I says, "Kind of carrot I am. I like a good bit of crack." And
did you say the kind of carrot you are?
Kind of character.
Character. I thought you said carrot. Your nickname's Big Red. You're not orange.
Yeah. So I just kind of I managed to get involved with that and kind of got it to work around work.
And it sucked you back into the game, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I done like that obviously a season, and then COVID hit, didn't it?
Yeah.
So that first season I went back in and we ended up winning the league. Like we had a good, like, to be honest, that league's not a good level. Obviously, it's like 2 leagues below the elite league.
But winning's
obviously
winning.
Guys all, yeah, of course, winning's winning. Guys all work, and and then the practices are like late at night. It was like 9 till 10 on a Wednesday and a Thursday night. You know what I mean? So like you're not getting home till like 11:30, and then guys have to go back to work the next day. So
and you were doing this around your work. So what was your job? What were you doing?
At that point, I was a postman for the Royal Mail.
Yeah.
So
and now you just do the job, right?
Yeah. I would just do the job. So yeah, that was that. Obviously, that stint at Whitley, and like I've got to thank David a bit because that kind of got us back involved. That got us back involved with the game.
Yeah.
Which I'd kind of been out of for a few years since. But obviously, once I left Newcastle the season before they went under.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just away from it altogether. But I got
a lot of questions. Sports. I got a lot of questions though. So you did the Whitley thing, which you probably weren't really making money. You're doing it for the love, kind of like me out in my shed. But then you win it. Is it not Gareth Chalmers that I thought the research team got hot enough to find this puzzle piece that Gareth Chalmers, isn't he with the Clan?
Yeah.
And he's the one that brought you to Glasgow, right?
Yeah. So that's how I ended up coming to Glasgow. Gareth worked in Newcastle when I was there as one of the hockey operations directors, which is obviously what he is up here as well. And he reached out to us like June. It was kind of during COVID, like as it was coming to an end, and kind of said, "Look, I'm struggling for an equipment manager. Just wondering if you'd be looking at getting back involved in the game." And I was just kind of thought, like, I do love the game, and it's a big opportunity to go in at a professional level.
Yeah.
But I thought like I've still got a lot to learn to be able to go in at that level at the same time.
Right.
So
Because it would have
so
been,
obviously
but
yeah,
you did it way back in Newcastle, though, right? You were
I done
professional.
it in Newcastle, but when I was new, when they were a professional team, but it was an absolute like shit show.
Shit
Like it
shows.
wasn't.
Those are
It
interesting.
it was like
They happen all
it
over
was
hockey.
like the like yeah your pay slip was a Monday morning in the brown envelope like shit show.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like there was
I
just
do.
nothing professional about it. Like which was a
And
shame because like
I find it's
obviously
harder for
that's my
players.
hometown team.
It's hard for players to play good with that stuff going on. When you have
Yeah,
other distractions in your brain, it's hard to go out and play hockey the right way
yeah,
for those people.
yeah. Definitely. I mean, I worked. I worked with some great guys in Newcastle. Like, I mean, Chris McAllister, he come in the 08-09 season, I think, during the lockout. He came across and like I still somebody speak to Chris now. See, he was in like he played for the Leafs and played for the Flyers, like someone like that. And
Well, do you know? Do you know the
Big Eddie
small world?
Courtney, a character I worked with. He was a good guy.
Well, you know
So
who I played with in your past. Research team got real creepy. Ryan Marley,
yeah,
aka Jibs, right?
yeah, Ryan Morley.
Yeah,
And
a
I was
Western
researching
Michigan
myself.
Bronco.
Yeah, I done a little research myself to see who I thought you might have played with, who I might have worked with. I think did you play with Mike Berry as well?
I sure did. Went to the finals of the coast with the
Yeah,
ragtag Daytona Beach Bombers. Yeah.
yeah, that was yeah. They both played in the same team.
Is
If I
that all
remember
your
rightly,
research
Ryan
team
and
found?
yeah,
Okay.
go on then.
How about Ryan McDonald? Played with him
Yeah,
on the Ripley Wolves out of the
yeah,
game. He may or may not have got a job where I'm employed with Superheat. And then played for the Ripley Wolves on our playoff drive. And he's no longer with us, but it's nice to help a guy out of the game. But
yeah,
anyways, I played against him in Germany. He was on Hellbron the year before I went there, and that was the big rivalry. And then I moved back home to the middle of nowhere, and sure to shit, we play senior hockey together.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was a good guy. I liked Ryan. I had him in Newcastle.
yeah, he's a good goalie too. Um,
Yeah,
and Jibs, he had diabetes. I remember my stories with him. Obviously, he could take his teeth out. Obviously, why he's called Jibs and put it in people's
yeah,
drinks, and that's funny.
yeah,
But they would overplay him in college because we didn't have many guys that could do it. And there was a year where they would play him so much that it was like, can Jibs wake up this morning? Because he's cooked. And it would be tough for him with the diabetes. And they'd play him like 35 minutes and he would be
yeah,
all messed up. Yeah.
yeah.
Did you ever see
But
that?
no, he didn't. I don't recall him getting this played that much over here.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he probably be
I
fine.
mean, but I mean, I'm rolling back here to like when I was like 17, 18. You know what I mean? Like
That's a long time ago.
it was quite a while ago. So like, I mean, I remember like individual guys, and I say when I was looking at myself, I was like, oh, play for Mars and obviously Berry as well. Berry was a tough guy. I remember he had a few battles when he was in there in Newcastle.
Is that right? I don't really remember him chucking knuckles. I remember him mucking it
Yeah,
up hard. He played
yeah,
hard.
yeah, he did. He played very hard.
Um, okay. Well, yeah. And then obviously Dicko, we haven't really talked about him enough. He's on your poster picks a lot, eh? You took a shine to him, didn't you? So did I.
It was funny because he was one of the first guys we signed last season, and we signed him quite early. So
Yeah.
I got on the Mad Dog because obviously Mad Dog's obviously
Thomas
from the
Marty.
same town as me. So he's obviously from me and him are both from Newcastle. We'll probably live 15 minutes apart if if we're back in Newcastle. So I got on the Mad Dog and I said, like, we've signed Dicko, and he goes, "You've got an absolute beauty there." And I was like,
It's
"How?"
pretty much
I was like,
unanimous
oh, "Is
across
that
the
just?"
game.
I was like, is that just something somebody says? Because like you get the guy, and obviously they don't want to say, "Oh, well, I hate him," or this, that, and the other. But he was true to his word. I'll give him that much.
Yeah.
Um, Never had any problems, but he was like Dicko's just like one of them guys. Like he just had that addictive laugh. Like you could just hear him coming on the
He
morning. He
makes
just
life funner to be around, and he's always
yeah,
in a
he
good
does
mood and he's
100%.
always laughing. I got to
100%.
spend a weekend with him in Cardiff this summer for Josh Batch's testimonial, and we
But
ran a muck. And fun is fun.
it's funny because I met him. I met him on that Sunday. I was down in London to watch the football, and he come across with his girlfriend to meet us for a beer. And he said, "I'm going to come out." He actually wanted to come to the game because I managed to turn him into a Newcastle United fan, believe it or not.
I saw that
So
picture.
he goes, "I want to come to the game." I was like, "Dick, if you had told us earlier, I would have been able to sort it out, but you left it a little bit too late. I kind of managed to get your tickets." So anyway, he come over. I'm like, we quickly chugged about 3 or 4 beers before I went off to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously because he was obviously down for the testimonial. And then I think he was going to see Springsteen in Edinburgh on the Monday.
Yeah, I just kept telling him he lives. He lives.
All of a sudden, he's left his kit bag in Cardiff. So I go down to Cardiff for pre-season, and Bates is like, "Oh, I've got a present for you."
Yeah, he
I was
just
like, "Oh,
left
what's that?" He goes, "Dicko's kit bag." I was like, "What do you want us to do with that?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, he's asked us to give it to you." I was like, "Oh, well, hopefully he's coming over to visit, eh?" And then he just keeps texting us going, "I'm just going to pay you to ship it. I'm not coming over." I was like, "You have to come over." I was like, "You just have to come over." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's the
misses you. You have to come over.
Well, that's the best part about the shed is that you want to see people, and I wanted to see people I played with. I want to see old friends, and now I can doing this, and it's like kind of when you were out of the game for, was it like 7-8 years? It's like I was out of the game for 5 years basically, and when you get back in, and now I got my shed and I'm coaching, it's like the love of the game is fired on all cylinders, and it's people like you and Dicko and shed guys, no shed guys, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, 100%. It's I think you just kind of missed. It's because I think hockey is just kind of it's a different sport. Like, you know, altogether, it's just the characters that you meet are like great characters, aren't they? Like you say, you make friends for life.
Well, it's
I mean,
true though, and it's like I'm coaching in a small town here where these kids are going to be around here in the future, and like they are going to be brothers for life. And to see it happening on my team, it's like the shed guys I talk about. It's the brothers for life that I need to see. So I start this.
Yeah, 100%.
You know how I met Dicko? Cardiff had me over for a Wally night, and I went over and did the pregame speech, spray painted with the GOAT 88 for Joey Martin and the devil on my chest and the Taz head. And I came in naked with Ultimate Warrior tassels on my arms and legs.
I think I've seen a picture of that, have I not? Would there be a picture of that kicking about somewhere?
Oh dear, is Deese better keep that in the phone?
I think that would have been via Deese, wouldn't it?
He better not be sharing that. Sharing is not caring in this situation. Nobody needs to see these photos. Yeah, one time he just sent me one of the photos, and it was so outrageous to think back on what we were doing in 2015-16 is we were just having fun and trying to help the team win, but man, some of the stories are outrageous. Oh man, Deese, what a guy he is. But yeah, that's how I met Dicko, was I got naked in front of him, did the pregame speech, then I got in Mark Richardson's face and said, "Do you remember when hockey was fun? Let's go out and have some fun." After I threw the Taz head across the room, and then put on my fancy clothes in the coach's room, and Lordo was like, "You have 2 minutes to get around," and I was still naked, spray painted, so I whipped on my fancy clothes and jersey, and then had to run around the arena to drop the puck. And all these guys I was just naked in front of giving a big speech, then see me come around and drop the puck like dressed business casual in my fancy clothes and my fancy shoes, and I could see them all laughing at the blue line. I was like, they think hockey's fun again. And they won.
That sounds like a good turnaround.
Yeah, it was as fast as I've gotten dressed at some time. Yeah. The look on their face when I came around. Yeah, Dicko and I were friends for life after that. It's weird. It's weird when you meet people and you start it with that,
Yeah.
You really broke the ice that day.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because like obviously I got on well with him, and then obviously last season he ended up out with coaching as well. But like I still speak to him now. Like I get a message off him probably once every week, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He got excited a few weeks ago because he managed to find a Newcastle United supporters club bar in Halifax. So he's like, Red, you won't believe this. I was like, what? He's like, I found a Newcastle United supporters club bar in Halifax. I was like, no, you haven't. And he's like sending us pictures in this bar, and he's like sending us random pictures with his Newcastle top on with like these random fans who he's probably like just met for the first time.
It's
And he's
it's
like,
a small world when you get chatting around, man, and that doesn't surprise me
yeah,
because there's a time where everybody got on boats and ended up here, and like you see all the towns are named the same stuff as over there.
yeah, that's it. So he's still obviously loving it, and he's still watching them, and then obviously he's still messaging. Even when there's a game on now, he's texting. I'm sitting watching the game, and we're sitting talk about the game, and then and then I get the odd message asking how the clan are doing.
Uh,
I think he's missing it a little bit, but deep
I,
down,
yeah, I'm sure he is. Hockey needs more guys like him. I think he
yeah,
needs to find his way in the game. You know what? I texted him. I said, you know quite a bit of people, and I know quite a bit of people, and my Rolodex has gotten a lot bigger. There's a night where I was walking my dog. I was like, we should start an agency and like treat people right and tell them the truth and like actually make calls for them and like be the agents we always wanted. And he wrote back and said, that is not a bad idea, Wally. And that was all we took it so far.
soon escalate.
Yeah, well, and I'm raising some puppies around here that are going to be able to play too.
Yeah,
You should see these two kids on my team and my goalie. I got two kids that are already my size playing U13, and like they can play. Every game I go out there for, I have the best centerman and the best defenseman in the league. And they're big, they can fast, they can shoot, they can compete. And they're like the best kids and best leaders and like keep everybody focused. It's like, man, this is hockey when you get a squad like this. So
yeah.
keep it up, boys, you know?
Be firing some youth across the Cardiff soon, eh?
Well, I know a few people in the hockey game, and I'll help out the people that play for me any day.
Yeah,
It's when they're
good.
good people, right?
Exactly.
Okay, watch your toes. More names I'm going to drop. Matthew Haywood with the Leeds Knights. He was a
Yeah,
legend there, and now they throw
yeah.
chocolate and Leeds in the old big blue tent. It's a small world.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, yeah.
You got that going? Oh,
Well,
yes, that's good.
apparently I wasn't the one that started it there, but it happens. It'd be cool if I
Yeah,
started it.
I remember actually. I actually listened to Woody one. That one, Woody was sharing my first season. Um, I actually think he might have come on that season if I remember rightly, because I think that might actually been the first shed into me while I listened to and not Dickos. If I remember rightly, I think I would have listened. I think it was probably 2 years ago when he would have done. Woody, was it?
About that, yeah, I think it.
Yeah, I think. And
He was
so
in
I
Leeds and he
listened.
was running amok. But what a great guy he is! I think he's the type of
Yeah,
guy you
yeah,
win hockey games with. You need the
yeah.
best people to win.
He's a great guy, and obviously he had a lot of dedication to the team up here as well. Obviously, he'd been here for like since the first season for like at least 11 years, and then
Yeah.
whatever happened, and
Well,
obviously he
that's
just
what's nice about
took the
being
new
the
path down
equipment
at Leeds.
manager, right? It's never your fault. You didn't make the decisions.
No, that's a good thing, and but I'm glad to see he's doing well in Leeds. You know, it seemed like it'd been a good up and coming team, and seemed to be like just running away with it like
Yeah,
every year down there.
they seem
He's
to be
like
having
firing
fun. Winning's fun.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's just hammering ridiculous points, isn't he? Which is good. I'm sure he's enjoyed himself.
Yeah, scoring's fun, winning's fun. They're doing a lot of that in Leeds. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do have Shed fans in Leeds, and that's cool to think of like where all these fans have come from all over the world. It's like I think today, my guy, you're gonna get me over 200,000 audio listens. YouTube's at like whatever. I don't know, not much, 50,000 or something, but you're gonna get me over 200,000 today. And then it's like in 89 countries. And to think it's just me talking in my shed with my friends and then my friends' friends, and then we become friends. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Like,
It's cool.
I think it's good. It's good how it is really cool how you've got it going.
Yeah. So folks, if you want to help me out, get my team t-shirts, they earned them. aleshockeytales.com. There's a tip the pod button there while you wait for the raffle, right? um, Anywho, what else do I got? I'm still on the first page. Craig Peacock was playing for the Clan, and he's now a GM in the same league as Leeds, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's actually quite a neighbour of mine. He lives around the corner from me. I was out having a beer a few weeks ago with Craig. Another guy I got on well with last season when he moved back across from, obviously he was with the Five Flyers, and then he come back across to play for Glasgow last season.
Right.
And then obviously you got a good opportunity in the summer to go and be a GM down in Solway, and he was telling me all this rubbish that he wasn't going to lace him up, and I was like, don't talk rubbish, you're going to lace him up. And then last minute, who appears to be playing in rocks up on a big boat flying down an ice rink. I'm not sure if you've seen that video when he signed. They
No,
had a big they had a big boat, and he's sitting on the boat, going down the ice rink on the boat, like, and he was the
serious.
announcement of like so he's kind of a GM player, which I think's got to be quite a difficult role when it comes to hiring and firing.
Gassing your buddies. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be
Yeah,
fun to
well,
give people jobs. Wouldn't be fun to
it's
gas them.
yeah, it's got to be quite a tricky one for him. But again, he's enjoying himself down there. He's I was speaking to him a few weeks ago, and obviously that off ice stuff's tough, but it's stuff he's all learning. So he's obviously enjoying it and hoping that he can stay in the game, for the foreseeable.
Yeah. Well, I got one more question for name drops. Matthew Waugh, he was there. He left. I saw he's back playing in the East Coast Hockey League at like 37 years old. He is a
Yeah, still
gamer.
rolling out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he still in Norfolk?
I don't
He's
know.
in Norfolk, isn't he? At the
I just
Admirals
saw
line.
I don't know. I just saw he was playing the coast again. I
Yeah,
thought,
he's
wow, that's
still go, but he's still putting the points up as well.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like he was the
If you
best
ever need
in
a
front
guy
of net
just to
guy
stand
ever.
in front of the net,
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say. So
Best I
probably
ever saw, I bet.
he's probably the best I've ever seen over here as well for in front of the net.
Yeah. No.
The chances are, if you're throwing it at the net and he's there, 99% of the time it's going in.
Well, and it wasn't even just him putting it in the net. He'd make the little passes to the guys off to the
Yeah,
side that would put it in the empty
yeah,
net. Not many guys
yeah.
see those plays when they're mucking it up in
No,
front.
no, yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, all I got written down is getting back to the game. We covered that, and then the U13 Kincardine Canucks wagon. We were just ranked second in Ontario today, so that's pretty neat. I would all the teams. Way to go, guys! But rankings mean nothing. It's how you play the next game, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Poster picks brought to you by Freeman Designs. And I don't know how bad of a frog I sound like right now. Trying to muck it up, get through it. You drive the bus.
This is a good one. This was when I was in Whitley Bay when I first got back involved. So I've got obviously a bus driver's license. I thought you'd like that one. That's why I threw it in. So when we used to play away, most of the away games and that he were always on a Sunday. So because I had a license, but at the time I wasn't driving buses for a company, I thought I'm going to reach out to the company and say to them, right, look, if you need somebody to drive, I'm going anyway. I don't get paid for it. I'm going as a volunteer. Let's try and make a little bit of on the side here. So I ended up like practically driving every away game for Whitney, as well as running the bench, opening gates, filling water bottles, cleaning visors, and doing everything else that goes with it.
Yeah.
So it was quite
And that's how teams win,
quite
though.
a show.
Well, that's how teams win, is when guys will step up and do anything for the team.
This is one of the things, like, because there was some games I chose not to drove, and like David Longstaff, who was the coach at the time, was like, the guys prefer it when you drive. I was like, aye, because they're just sitting and hammer the shit out of us from the back of the bus. So that's why they enjoy it.
Because what? They hammer the shit out of what?
They're just sitting like take the piss, like have a laugh.
Take the piss. I've still been trying to figure out what that means over there. Take the piss. That is like you're making fun of someone, but like they pissed themselves. Like
no, you're just making fun of someone, but that's just kind of the way that we put it.
Take the piss. Yeah. I have a guy on my team in the real world that's from the UK, and he always says take the piss. And I'm like, God, I still don't know what that means. I know it means like you're giving it to a guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that. I give the people the piss.
So that was actually quite fun, and I done both. I mean, it's tiring at times when you
equipment like manage and then you got to drive there and back.
It's like the longest trip that they've done was from like Newcastle to the middle of Birmingham to a place called Solihull, and I used to always try and avoid it because it was a 4.5, 5 hour stretch, and it was a horrible trip.
That'd be a long
So
day.
normally I'd always just say like, because the company were like, you choose which games you want to do and we'll cover the rest. And I was like, great, like I'm on a win-win here. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'd just pick all the nice short ones and cash in.
It takes everybody to win, and when the equipment guy is gonna drive the bus, it's like Andrew Hotham in Cardiff. He drove the Zamboni when the Zamboni guy didn't show up one morning, and we had Hoth out there half dressed driving the Zamboni, and he got her done, and then we practiced.
I've had that job as well.
Really?
Yeah, I've done that last season up here in Glasgow. I used to do it on the morning to save them bringing an extra member of staff in.
Mhm.
So I would come in like an hour earlier and do the Zamboni. So it's
Eh,
quite fun actually. I've just this year it's just been too much. I've just not been able to. I said, oh my, I can't do that as well as trying to.
Well, so you are
Nah, the
still
thing.
pretty new in this equipment game. It's your third year in the
Yeah,
EIHL, but I believe the first time we messaged back and forth, you brought up Thomas Murdy and said that guy has helped me so much when you guys came on the road to Glasgow, and you said he just helped you so much, and I think that's hockey.
yeah, it is, and it's funny because I'm away down there tomorrow. I've got to drive to Cardiff tomorrow, and he was on the phone yesterday. He's like, I'll meet you when
You
you
guys
get
play
here, and
Cardiff tomorrow.
we'll
Shed
play
boosts
Cardiff on
don't
Friday.
shed
We'll
boosts
play
don't happen
Friday,
for
but
equipment guys, right? You're not gonna beat them
yeah, we've
again.
got to I've got to drive. So we've been down there twice in the space of a week because we're down there last week as well.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think
That's when
I'm
you
quite
sent me the
disappointed
picture
because I
at
don't
Chippy
think.
Lane.
Yeah, well, that was a good thing. Obviously, I got there plenty of time last week, but I think I'm going to miss Chippy Lane this week because I'm not going to get there till late. And I can't get in the ring till late because they're busy
What'd you eat when you
doing
went
some
there?
works on the dressing rooms. Sorry.
What did you eat when you mucked it up there?
I went for the chicken kebab last time. It was good.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
It was a good show.
Yeah,
What was
was
your
it
go-to?
was it busy down there? It's always a kebab usually. I ventured the odd time. The one time Franny had me try the chicken and beef mixture, and
Yeah,
I don't know if it was because I had just played in the testimonial extremely hungover, or if it actually wasn't that good. But I had a tough go with it. But I had a tough go getting through that hockey game. It was an
yeah.
I went too hard the night before, I think maybe, give or take. But I did go like 3 nights out of 4, when I was
That's
there.
good. Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that anything to do with these?
Well, I think he was involved. Hendo,
Yeah,
Dicko, the whole crew. I was even there with the coaches, Neil Francis and their head
yeah,
coach now. And he said he was going to come to the shed and hung out with me on Chippy Lane. And
yeah.
he should come, but I don't have
Well,
time to talk to everybody.
I'll remind him for you on Friday when I see him.
Please do. Yeah.
I'll remind
And
him.
I just saw him. It was against, what was it, Dundee? Um, I loved in the summer when he was there for the testimonial. He's been named the coach, but he stayed all night. He mucked it up all night for Josh Batch. He was helping any way he could, kind of like you driving the bus. And he helped out the whole night. Then he hung out with us all night and mucked it up at Chippy Lane with us. And I thought, this is a coach. And then that game against Dundee, like he had his players' backs. I don't know what all went on, but I could see the passion and I could see that he had his players back. And I know his team saw that. And I appreciate that as a hockey guy, that when the coaches have your back, and he's a shed guy,
Are you relating to the video at the end?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. Yeah, I seen
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Everybody got a
I seen he
I,
was
I
right.
love that
He
they
was
were
right
right,
down in the thick of it, wasn't he? Yeah,
right,
he was right down
and
on the
then the
thick of
two
it.
coaches look at each other, and everything's going on, and then I see them go out and give each other a handshake, and I thought that is
Yeah,
so hockey.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that shit. That's old school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only he's actually well, I don't know him. I think I met him in playoffs like maybe 2 years ago, like when I was with the clan, and he was back, and he kind of popped his head in my box, and that was kind of the first time I met him. And then every time I see him now, it's as if like we've known each other years. Like we're standing and have a bit, we'll have a little bit of chat, and it's
Well, he's
like
he's
I
a
don't
good
really
dude.
know you, but I do know you. Do you know what I mean? And
He
he's
has
a
that
nice guy.
effect on you. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a nice guy. And even when we were down there pre-season, like I was in the karaoke bar with him, like just running amok as you do. You know what I mean? Like it was just like
I do know what you mean.
it was good. It was good time.
I run amok all the
He's
time.
a real nice guy.
Yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So you punks did go there, and they were up on you, right, in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals, and then you guys beat them. That's horse
Yeah,
manure. That upset me.
yeah. It was actually nice to go down there and finally be able to win in the building because we ran so close. Obviously, other times and we played them up here in the league and absolutely annihilated us one game, like 7-0, which was a one to obviously throw in the back pocket, which we have done and kind of bounce back from it. But it was nice to go down there and finally
And
be
win.
able to get. Yeah, it was because I mean, to be honest, we should have won the home game, or at least at least had it like come out of it with a draw. And
Right.
then obviously because we played them 3 times in the space of 7 days, and they got us like twice up here. It was good to actually go down there and go, you know what, like have that one.
Oh,
Put
yeah.
it nicely, you know what I mean? I don't want
Well,
to
winning's
don't
the
want to use
opposite
the
of
words I
losing, and
exactly use, but
yeah, Cardiff, there would have been some sour folks after that. I know how
yeah,
passionate they are about winning and how
yeah,
they expect to win. And you know what? That's a culture that's been built there. And yeah, there would have been some sour folks after that game, you know?
100%, 100%.
So shed boosts don't work for the equipment managers, right? Like you can't win the game. Have you ever got an assist where you passed a stick to a player going by and then he scores?
Um, Not that I can think of off the top of my head now. I
No.
mean,
I always love that
I'm
when the
quite,
equipment manager gives like a guy breaks a stick and you're
yeah,
ready right away. And it's like I always say it takes everyone to win. And then when the guy's on it and gets that stick and he doesn't have to change and it goes in and
yeah.
scores.
I'm quite hot on making sure I'm ready, like especially on for like face-off guys. Like,
Right.
there's nothing worse than you're not ready when that face-off's right in front of your bench, and it's like the guy's standing at the gate waiting for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than that, isn't it? I had it a few weeks ago in Cardiff. I had one guy broke free in Belfast. Sorry, he broke free in the space of 7 minutes, and I was just
That's a
like,
lot of money, man. When I'm in
I
minor
could,
hockey and I know how much it costs, it's
oh man, I
absurd.
was like, but like, it's like, how many extras do you take with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always like you carry a couple of spare on the road with you, and it's like,
I always had three
where
sticks
does it
with me.
end?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think well, I've started putting four in for this guy just because of the game that he smashed free in the space of 7 minutes, and I was just like,
That's just
I mean,
mucking it
one
up.
taken away, one was a slash, which we didn't get a penalty for, which was quite annoying, and
Right.
then two were off face-offs. It's just
The
like,
guys that break sticks on faceoff are really trying to win them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So I
funny thing about
never
like,
could win any. That's why I was a winger. And I couldn't
no,
play
it's
D
funny
zone
though,
good
like
enough.
when Dicko was here, like I don't, it was if like Dicko's sticks were made out of like solid metal.
Right.
I don't know if it's like it was the way he held it or what. Like you would hardly ever break any sticks, and you like he was a face-off guy
Yeah, he was.
with a good percentage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you go like, and you look at them and you're like, are they made of something different? Like, are they not made of like what a normal stick's made of? Because like, sure, you've got other guys going through like, you know, over the course of the season, 20, 25 sticks, and he's lucky if he's went through like 10, 12, and it's like
Yeah.
doesn't seem right. I mean, but
Well,
again, I think it's just
there
the
was
way
a
a
guy
guy.
in Germany that my son asked me the other day. He's like, "Who was the best face-off guy you ever played with or against?" And I knew right away. Hugo Boisvert. I believe he's coaching in Germany now, but when he played for Castle and then he played in Dresden, I think. But he would break our centerman stick like regularly, and he would use a wooden stick and it would just shatter our sticks. And I hardly ever saw him lose a face-off ever. You know, you start cheating that you're going to lose and get on the D right away.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. It just seems great that some guys do and some. I mean, I think a big part of it's how you're holding the stick. Like,
Right.
you know,
It
when I
is.
watch it now, like because
Yeah.
Steve used to hold his quite low. Now he used to
You
have
just inspired me for practice. I'm working on face-offs. We need to be better on
yeah.
face-offs. Yeah.
Let's try holding the stick in a different position.
Well, yeah, and like when you haven't really given them the techniques, then they just go out and like do it. There are some techniques you can use, you know?
Maybe you need to go back to Dicko and ask him what his way was.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you just need a new show with Dicko just to talk about techniques.
Yeah. Well, Dicko should be in hockey for something, you know?
But
Um,
yeah.
your next poster pick, the selfie in the Clans locker room. Who's the guy taking the selfie? You're by the logo with another guy.
So yeah, that's it. So that guy's Ian Kelly, known as the horse, as for the workhorse. He's been an equipment manager around Scotland for about like 25 years, and he's always had a bit of association. He's worked in Fife, and he's worked obviously yeah, he's worked for the national team. So when I come up, obviously because I was back in the game after a while,
Yeah.
Gareth said like I'm gonna have a guy that's gonna be around as often as he can to give you a hand. I was like, all right, great. Like I'm all for leaning on and learning off people that know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so but he's a full time paramedic. So he kind of obviously can only come across when he's not working, but he's been a massive help. Like I've learned so much off him over the course of the 3 seasons I've been here.
That's nice to have
You know,
someone
and
help you
it's
out.
it is it's and it to be honest, he's great with like he's got like his own little hobby hut at home, which he does like where he just loves like fixing things and you know. So when it comes to stuff like that, where I'm not too sure. See, I don't know. So you've got a but like I had a broken kneecap there 2 weeks ago, and he's melting water bottles and using plastic off the water bottles, and then
So
using like
when
shot blocker and like he manages to fix this like knee pad as if it's like this leg pad as if it's brand new, and I'm
mid
looking like,
game?
no, this was just before the game.
Oh,
So
jeepers.
this was just before the game. So it's
I
just
think you
like
just answered. What's the weirdest equipment issue you ever had in the equipment game?
I lost was it in my first season? Um Dyson Stevenson is like the king of blocking shots.
Sticko
And
said he's a shed guy.
yeah, but he blocked a shot and it smashed his tuck off. We're actually playing Cardiff, believe it or not. And it smashed his tuck off.
Yeah.
And because I was still quite new, I kind of well, one, I panicked. But two, I couldn't get a tuck. I couldn't get a new tuck back on in time to get him on the ice, which was quite frustrating. But
Mm,
again, it was like my first year back, and I was kind of like, okay. But we were winning that game at the point that we lost them, and we ended up losing.
right.
So that's probably like my most
The tuck
frustrating
coming
one.
right
The
off, it must
time
have been a shot.
I was a shot. I
Yeah.
can't remember the guy's name because I remember the guy. The guy actually
You wouldn't
was
want that hitting the
at
side of
the
your
playoff
foot.
weekend. The guy at the playoff weekend was actually fucking winding us up about it because he come into the bar after the game and he was rubbing the next man. And when I smashed Dyson's took off for that shot, I was like, oh yeah, I remember. I remember. Like,
Yeah. I
thanks
was
for
the one
reminding
dealing with
us.
it. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, thanks, buddy.
Your next poster pick is with Taff, Jason Ellery, who's also
Yeah,
from Cardiff, and he's like the godfather of equipment managing in the UK, isn't he?
yeah, 100%. I'm lucky enough to know Taff from when I was back in Newcastle. And like I said to you before, Newcastle was an absolute shit show. So every time we went to Belfast, there was always something we would forget. Like, doesn't matter, you know, whether you were looking after it or whether the guys were looking after it, whether it be a jock strap, a pair of elbow pads, a pair of short. You would always go there, and I always found that I would always forget something. But Taff was always there to pull you out the shit all the time. And like now, he's still a great guy now. He's a guy I speak to probably at least once a week, and he's always said to us, you know, if there's ever anything you need, like ballers, I can
I've
FaceTime
never
you
heard a
and go
bad thing
through
about the
stuff. And
guy.
he's, you know, I've always got on well with him, and he's been a massive help as well since I come back in the game. And
Well, and that,
he's always just one of them guys that'll do anything for you.
yeah. Well,
You know what
that's
I
you
mean?
need those
But
guys
to
around,
be
and it
honest,
seems like you have that in the equipment world.
I think that's the good thing with the league over here. Like everybody's willing to help everybody. You know, it's just a
Yeah.
10 team league. You know what I mean? But like all the guys get on well, and you know if guys are coming to you and they need this doing and they need that doing, it's like, but you'll get the vice versa when you go down there. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of I think that's the way it should be because it just makes everybody's life easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, and that's part of hockey is you don't have to be mean to people. It's like we're all putting on a show and like let's go out and compete as hard as we can. It's like I don't know what like let's just go have fun playing hockey. And when guys help each other, it makes it all easier for everybody to put on the show, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Anyways, what else do I got here? So the pick of you outside a big barn, that's the Newcastle United barn. Hey, that's a big sucker.
Yeah, is that just the one? What one was that? The one on my own?
Yeah, and
Don't know.
then
No,
you're outside, but then when you go
oh no,
inside,
no. That's the one. That's the one outside of Wembley.
oh, that's Wembley.
That's Wembley, which is in London. That was last year. So I was fortunate enough last year because this was during the season. Newcastle had made that first major final in absolute years,
Yeah.
and obviously, but it was in the middle of the season. Luckily enough, I had Horse was able to cover for us, and I've got another guy that helps us, Liam. Them two covered the weekend for us, so I could go down to Wembley and like have an absolute ball. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but it was just a good experience to be able to actually see them play in the final, which, you know, is something that very rarely happens.
Yeah. Well, and I find that's
But
very
like,
hockey that you've turned Dicko into a Newcastle United fan, because that is hockey. It's like the guys that went down south USA, they all got into like college football and NASCAR,
yeah,
and like wherever you go in your hockey career, like makes you who you are, right?
yeah, yeah. It was funny because the last season it was about the October. It was actually me and Craig Peacock, and because obviously me and Craig were the only English guys on the team, and it was the World Cup. Craig's like, do you fancy going down to Newcastle to watch England? He's like, you know, they're not going to have it on up here because obviously the Scots hate the English when it comes to football. Let's go down with Newcastle. I was like, all right. He goes, I'll ask some of the boys, see if anybody fancies coming down. Well, obviously, first on your list was Dicko.
He
Dicko
lives.
was right up for it. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
so.
he lives.
Well, like, but I think we'd been, if I remember rightly, we'd been in Manchester on the Sunday, and I think if I remember right, we won in Manchester. So obviously, we were having a few beers on the bus on the way back.
That doesn't sound right.
And we,
I thought you'd be
and
seeing a
then,
chocolate storm.
and then, and then we, then we had the train out of Glasgow at like 8 o'clock the next morning. But once we got back, we carried on with the beers as you do, because obviously it was 2 days off. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you do.
we turned up at the station like an absolute state with a bag of beers,
Yeah.
as you do.
You need those. Yeah.
So we went down and it come to like 10:30 and we're on pitchers, like 4 pint pitchers in a big tent in the middle of Newcastle waiting for the England game to start.
Sounds fun.
Obviously, like just living my best lives. And then we got like the last train back home and like I was like, oh, I love this city. This is great. This, that, and the other. And I was like, well, we'll have to get back down for a Newcastle game. I was like, I'll hook you up with some tickets, and luckily I managed to get us down for a game. Um, it was in like the February time. Again, we had a few days off, so we managed to go down. But we stayed the night that time, so you could, you know, like live the life. And I know a couple of boys that play, so I was able to like, get us some tickets. And the picture of us all, where you can see us with the pitch behind us.
Yeah.
There's like me and Dicko, and then there's two of the guys are players.
I
They're
saw
my
that.
buddies
They
from
were
back
in your
home.
poster pick with the trophy.
Yeah, so that's so they're David Longstaff's sons, Sean and Matty.
Right.
So Sean still plays for Newcastle now. Matty's just had a horrendous injury, so he's kind of on the verge of coming back. But we're lucky enough to go down, and Sean's lucky enough to get the guy, like get Stephen and John Muse, who was our goalie as well. He come along with us with one of his buddies from back home, who was a Manchester United fan and we were playing Manchester United that day. So he come down as well, and look, I managed to get them like get them a decent seat. And
well, that's pretty memorable
they
stuff
got
to get
they
to
got
go
to
see
meet the
those.
guys. And, yeah, and obviously as soon as we got there, Steve's like, I'm buying a jump, I'm buying a top, and I'm buying a hat. So you're sorry, there's a picture of him like with his Newcastle United snapback on. Normally I get off him with his jersey on when he's getting ready to watch the game. So turned him. It's good.
He does everything right. um, So next poster pick, I brought Dicko up again, I guess. Is you're at Top Golf with him. I didn't know that was in the UK.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called over there?
It's in Glasgow.
Yeah.
It's probably
Is
it's
it
probably been open
expensive
about
as hell over there?
Yeah,
Because it was
it's probably been,
expensive as hell here.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's been
went
open
once and
about
I
a
was
year
like, that
now, I
was
think.
fun.
Yeah, it was we done we were there for the start of the season. We done like a pre-season. All the guys went at the start of the season for like a bonding
And the
thing, and I
team
think they do a
paid.
deal where you get like a burger and a beer or whatever, But
Yeah.
not sure how expensive it is, but yeah, when we done it as well last season. Because Craig Peacock's wife is a manager in there, so
Okay. So you get some deals. Maybe. Oh, you
so
were cutting
yeah,
out there.
so just got to
You're,
know the right people there.
yeah, you do. It's all about who you know. And talking about Merds, Lucky Foot Leather. When I went over for that testimonial, he whipped me up a leather wallet, and it says
Yeah.
Wally 18 on it and Lucky Foot Leather. And I just thought, man, that's the nicest thing ever, you know?
Oh, well, you're quite lucky because I bought one off him and mine wasn't customized, so I'll have to speak to him about
Well, I think I was probably supposed to pay him too.
that. I've got like a little brown one which I just use for my bank cards, but
Yeah.
like I use it all the time. Like
That's
it's
what
really
he whipped up
it's
for me
really
too.
nice material. the AI. I use it all the time. It's nice stuff, and I think he's kind of up and down with that. I think one minute he wants to do it, and the next minute he doesn't. But he was saying to us the other day, he's just getting back into it again for Christmas. So he's
Yeah.
been quite busy, which is good. So, but it's hard, man. It's finding time when you do this job to try and do other stuff as well as the job that you're doing in hand. It's
I I do know.
especially with the schedule. Like our schedule's been crazy. We've been playing the best part of like every 2 or 3 days, and you're trying to fit practice in and
It's life gets busy when you become an adult. It's like this. It's like I find a window of when I might be able to do it, and then I start throwing out hooks. Right? It's like I don't have many windows to do this, but I only have to go to my backyard to my shed. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to drive 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Hmm. What else do I got? So, did you play hockey growing up?
Nope.
How did you get into hockey?
But believe it or not, I can't even skate.
So you'd need a penguin.
Yeah, I need a penguin.
Hmm.
I just started watching. So it's funny back in Newcastle. My weekends, I literally used the team in Newcastle used to play out at like the main arena back in the day when I had a team. So it was like a 12,000-seater arena. But like, this was obviously part of why they never ended because they just didn't get the
People.
They didn't get the crowd.
Yeah.
So my nights used to I used to be in there on a Friday watching the basketball because I used to I followed the local basketball team, and then the Saturdays and Sundays was always ice hockey.
Right.
So I kind of got into it through. I don't know if you ever heard of the Sport Speedway, which is a motorsport
Speedway, like driving fast?
speedway. So it's kind of like it's bikes with no brakes.
Say what?
So and you can only turn one way. So they kind of glide around the corner.
Oh,
So the owner at the time of the ice hockey owned the Speedway Club, and I always used to go to the Speedway. And there was just like one day he'd done like a deal where it was like Speedway was on in the afternoon, and if you went to the ice hockey, you got in for like £5.
yeah.
So it was like, all right, let's go and give this a go then.
Right. And
And
then
that was
you're
kind
into it.
of, and then went into it, and then as I got into it more, I started like I volunteered with a supporters club, and that was kind of how I got in with the hockey side of like with the equipment side of it because the equipment manager left halfway during the season. So the supporters club manager kind of stepped in and kind of said to a couple of lads, like, do you want to come in and give us a hand? Because he was like good friends with the coach. And that was kind of where it started, really. Like, I just went from selling 50-50 tickets to then, like,
Right.
kind of being down the back and getting involved. And
Kind of like Katrina Williams in Cardiff. Now she's like running the show, and she was just a
yeah,
volunteer.
she is, yeah. Is that how she started off as well?
Yeah, just passion and
Yeah.
volunteering. Yeah. It's interesting when
Yeah.
you have a passion for something, what can happen, right?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, when the opportunity come up to do it full time, it's not something you get an opportunity to do
Right.
often, is it? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was a one I would have been stupid to turn down.
Yeah. So then Newcastle, you weren't there that last year as a pro because it's a shit show, and then they go tits up and you're out of the game for a
Yeah,
while, and then you got sucked
yeah.
back in.
They moved from the main arena to where I used to work with Whitley Bay, which is like it's I don't. Do you remember playing in Manchester?
Yeah, yeah. Played there once.
What did you think of it as a whole?
It was like the big blue tent.
Aye, so shithole.
Nah, good shithole. It's the
Aye,
chocolatey storm
well,
shelter.
Whit-
It means a lot to me.
Whitley's 10 times worse.
I don't know what you mean
Like,
by worse. I love the storm shelter. I have memories for
I
life,
well,
and I only played there one time. You know, I've been naked as a
I guess
Viking, covered in dirt from Dees, with an axe and a sword and a shield, and the glass broke in warm-ups, and I sat on the shitter for an hour and a half, naked, cold, and afraid. And then I finally did my speech. And now chocolate gets thrown on the ice all
it's
over.
one of these rinks where you walk in and it's like it's damp as soon as you walk in.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I
Like
like those kind of barns. I like
the
character. I
walls are
don't want
wet,
them all
the
to be
seats
like
are wet.
fancy.
Like, yeah, it's like so that was kind of why because the move from obviously playing in the 12,000-seater stadium to playing in like in front of 1,000 people, and that was going to be the make or break, and the struggle to even fill that little venue out. So you knew it was only going one way, unfortunately,
Right.
at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, I got out of it before the last season, before the move to the smaller venue.
Okay.
before their budgets were smaller. Before it was kind of like
Yeah.
you're probably not going to get paid. Like this
Right.
is happening and that's happening. So I kind of step back at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then you got into a whole different profession, but it's cool. You got back in the game, and then like everybody says you're a dandy and a shed guy, and hockey needs more guys like you. It's a good thing you're not a postman anymore. You know?
It's funny because like it's like of all the jobs over the years, if I moved from one job to another, I left it because I didn't like it. But I left like the post job because like just because of the opportunity. I didn't leave it because I disliked it. It was like it was a good. You're kind of like your own boss once you get out there and you're just
Yeah.
delivering your
Do what you
headphones
got to
in. You've
do.
got podcasts on. You're listening to music. You go and get ready at 10 bags and then you're away back to the office and that's your shift done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
do.
it's kind of. I kind of leaving that was like I was actually quite sad because it was quite a good job, but at the same time it was like I'm going to go and work on a sport I absolutely love, and it's like
Well, you
no, you're
got
not
the
going to get the
opportunity to
opportunity.
go professional, right? That's a big
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
your job
exactly.
now. And I
And
know
like
Deese loves his
now,
job. And then I
yeah,
think equipment managers, it's kind of like, well, it's like any job in the real world. If you can make your bed the way you want it and you have a system and you have everything down that
yeah.
works right, then your system's set. And you don't have to put in a million hours to get things done.
And to be honest, and when I look back now to my first season, and I look back and now that's how it is, and it's good because like obviously we've just had new ownership and he's coming in and he's letting we invest in what's making life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it is actually when I go back to when I first come and I used to remember like I was starting at like 7 in the morning and I was still like graphing at 6, 7 at night and that was just a practice day and I'm like surely not. But now I've got it down to a T where I can be done by like two,
Right.
half two. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you've got the rest
It's
of
a
your
good
day to
life if you
yourself.
can get your system down. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
There's
you
can be
just
some
as you say,
travel
you
though.
just got to get it in good order, but you need obviously the support from upstairs and
Yeah.
the support from the ownership as well. Which, to be honest, it's great now because we're getting that support and the club's pulling in the right direction.
That's good. And you're, I guess, now in the semifinals of the Challenge Cup. That's be a big
Yeah,
day.
we'll find out tonight who will play. So
Yeah.
we're just waiting to see
Who's it
what
between?
different. You've got Coventry Belfast tonight, and you've got Sheffield Manchester.
Right.
So it's still play anyway. Um, Belfast Coventry is 1-1 after the first leg. Manchester are
Yeah,
down 5-1 after the first leg. So it's kind of
yeah. It's rare when
like
people
it's
come back from 5-1, but I have seen the Cardiff Devils do something like that in the past.
yeah. I mean, it's doable. Eh? You never say never. It's still 60 minutes of hockey to play, isn't it?
Yeah, when
So,
hockey, when it's like we had a game this weekend where we have a first period, we're all over them, we're up 2-0, and then you think it's going to be easy. You take your foot off the gas. It happens the same way in pro as under 13. It's like when you don't have that little extra, all of a sudden they're back in the game, you know?
yeah, yeah. We had a game like that 2 weeks ago against Cardiff.
Okay.
It's 3-3 nil up at the end of the first, and then we'll go on to lose the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's as you say, it's just takes them little spells, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, you got to play the full game, that's for sure, in hockey to win. Trying to think what else I got here. One thing I got is I saw the Glasgow Clan. I think they were playing Manchester, which is why I saw this. They had like looked like an unreal bagpipe band come out before the game.
Yeah, that was that's something they're trying to bring a lot more of into this season. Obviously, they're trying to work towards getting the jumbotron, which is en route, but council's holding that up in the minute. And then they're trying to have like different events where they bring like local things, local businesses in, like and I think that band that they had in, they're talking about bringing them in a couple of times this season. But because
They
it was
looked
St Andrew's
awesome.
Day, which was obviously that's like the big day over here, the St Andrew's Day. That was why they had them in, but they were really good,
Yeah,
really good.
they looked
They,
really good.
they played
And what's a
played they
small
played a
world
few
of
times during the game.
Well, that's cool. That's hockey. And then what's cool about that in the small world is I'm Kincardine here. It's a Scottish settlement. Obviously,
Yeah,
there's
and you've seen it.
Kincardine there. But we have bagpipes for our home opener this year. And guy came out, played the bagpipes for our under 13s. And fun fact is like every Saturday in the summer, they do a bagpipe march down the street, like a lot of the town, and comes
Oh,
out
really?
and they do bagpipes down the road and back like a
Oh, that's
parade.
good, eh?
Yeah, every Saturday in the summer. And yeah, it's neat. It's a small world when I see bagpipes going
Yeah,
on over there and then you see them fife, and that's what we do around here.
that's Then you get yourself a bagpipe lesson one day and get it going
I
on.
think I
Get it
got
going in the
enough
shed.
going on. I think I got enough going on. I think I'll leave that to the professionals. Um, Here's my last question because you gave me a selfie from Chippy Lane. That's awesome. That's hockey. Um, what is your? Do you have a pregame meal or do you have a postgame meal? Do you have
Normally,
any
just the
lucky
put.
things like any whatever they're called?
Nah, not really. Not normally. I just kind of get what the post game. I kind of normally there's normally a one left over what the guys leave. So it's just your normal. We'll get like maybe it's like a chicken risotto, or
You
maybe
just get
sometimes
whatever the
we'll have
boys
like
get.
some yeah, or sometimes we'll have like tacos. Like when I'm finishing late at night, I'm not coming in and cooking. Like I'm straight to bed to get ready to go
You
somewhere the
guys
next
do
day.
work a lot of hours, eh? Like when you
Like
like the night hours, you guys can have to put in a shift overnight, can't you?
it's yeah, it's like it's just we've had some tough ones lately. Obviously, I've got a nice 7 hours down to Cardiff tomorrow after practice. So that's like nice drive in the van. And the guys fly down Friday morning.
Oh, so
But
you have to do
again,
the
obviously,
drive and they get to
the
fly.
logistics of it is it's too expensive to obviously take everything on the plane.
Right.
So it's easier just to take it down in the van. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Well, then yeah, it's
I
time to
go
step
down,
up, eh? Yeah.
go down. So it's well, and to be honest, we're doing a lot of the games this year in the van, which I kind of like because it's kind of got there's a lot more professionalism to it, which is what we've kind of grew this year within the organisation since the new ownership's come in.
That's
Is
great.
like the professional, yourself, like if you're not working in a professional team, it's like there's no give and go. So like you just you're not really wanting to give it all. Where I like to get to the rink and I like to get set up and I like the guys to just kind of have to come in and not have to worry about anything.
Right.
So they come in and they're just coming in to play.
Well, and equipment managers, they could change teams. They help build the culture. It's like Deese and
Yeah,
Cardiff made it fun. We both made it fun with some pregame speeches,
yeah,
but like the equipment managers can totally make the culture different. They can be negative and complaining about doing shit, and then all of a sudden, like negativity is exhausting, you know?
yeah. I mean, I've heard some tales off Diesel from his previous years, but I don't know if some of the stuff that he used to get away with back in the day, he could get away with now with players.
I just don't think so. Um, we'll just leave it at that. Hey, um, yeah,
It's which is a shame in a way, but again, it's kind of the same way like coaches have to approach players now, isn't it? Like, because it's like you kind of players like an arm around the shoulder more than the bollock, don't they? And it's just kind
yeah,
of like,
and so it has
but I
changed,
guess
but
it's the way the game's going, isn't it? Like it's
well, if
changed massively to how it used to be.
and that's kind of like I raise my puppies around here to like when they're playing, like we're old school. Like you try harder than the other team, you do it for each other, and I don't want to see the fancy stuff. It's not you don't turn the
Yeah,
puck over at the blue lines. Like you get that deep for each other, and like I like to have it fun. I like to make it fun, but if they're not focused and ready to try hard, then I can't be fun guy, you know?
yeah, yeah, 100%. I was like, it's funny because I was thinking back to the Newcastle days earlier, and the days when we're like when Belfast or Cardiff or Sheffield were coming up to Newcastle, you used to try and make it a misery for them.
Right.
So like we're going in the dressing room and we're like we'd take light bulbs out and like we'll soak the walls and we'll block the toilets and we'll make sure the showers were cold just to try and
Yeah.
give you that little bit of advantage.
Well, that's hockey.
I'm,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna say it never worked, but
no.
like even like something like that now, you would just never ever like it just wouldn't happen. Like you know what I mean? Like
Well,
I think the
yeah.
professionalism of it all, like you get two good teams go up against each other and the best team wins.
Yeah, well, and sometimes, you got to hockey a little bit too. I've like chatted when we're like the ice is ready before our games and like you talk with the ref and then he's like, okay, let's go out at this time. And then like you don't tell the other team and like you just go out and then you get them all flustered. It's stuff like that, you got to do stuff.
Yeah, as you do. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Need little favors somewhere, don't you, to try and
Well, it's like when you
help you
ask the
out.
other team when you're gonna start and they're like um it's like oh, I got sidetracked there. They would give us wishy-washy answers of when the game's starting, like when they're the home team, and
Yeah,
it's like, well, tell us because
yeah,
we want to be ready, and they kind of give the, well, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling. So yeah, that's hockey. Dees used to take shits in the big blue tent, leave
yeah.
big piles of dump in the away locker room, like huge shits.
Wait, We used to do stuff like that in Newcastle just to make sure the toilet was blocked when they turned up,
Yeah.
like back
Well,
in the
that's
day.
hockey.
It's just, it's just like, I mean, it's not something I would do now. Like, I don't go and drop one in the away dressing room
I'll give her a
before
try,
Mills
see how
turns
it
up to come
feels.
and set a room up. You know, I
Uh,
mean, I mean,
give it a
I may
shot.
try it at some
I bet you
point.
Dees is still doing it in Austria. Guaranteed
I
that's sicko.
guaranteed he still is.
Oh yeah, he's a sicko. Yeah, for sure he is. Nothing's changed in Austria for sure. Well, I don't know if I got anything else, but I guess I got to get back to the real world. But it was great getting to know you, and Dicko wasn't wrong, and Dees wasn't wrong, and Merds, shed guys, no shed guys. Nice meeting you, man. Keep up the good work in Glasgow.
Thanks,
Stop
Wally.
beating Cardiff or Manchester, though.
I never know. I might get you on the back of a Glasgow jersey soon, huh?
Hey, well, I would wear swag if people sent it to me. I'm still waiting for Manchester to send me some swag. Still waiting for Cardiff to send me some swag. My stuff's getting pretty old. The pants have ripped.
Yeah, we need to.
They even got a new logo. I
Yeah,
got
we
nothing
need.
to do with the new logo. You got to send me some
Maybe not.
swag.
Yeah. Do you get the jersey at the end of the season?
Yeah, I got some jerseys back there.
Do you get the Manchester one though at the end of the year?
I don't know. I never asked. I'm just trying to pay them. I hope so. I hope I get to put it up in the shed. That'd be so
Yeah, that'd be good,
hockey.
huh?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, that'd
wicked
be good.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that'd be cool.
great getting to know you. And yeah, sorry I sound like a frog, but I understood you well. So keep it up.
That's good. Thanks, buddy.
And
Nice talking to you.
yep, and it's back to the real world, folks. And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Big Red and Wally.